Hello guys, in today's video we have the EVERCROSS EV10S MAX, a scooter that at first glance and according to its specifications seems like a serious candidate for everyday riding, not just occasional fun. It is powered by the 500 watt motor with a peak of around the 1000 watt. There is a large 48 watt 27 amp hour battery that promises a range of up to 120 kilometers. With a front and rear suspension, 10-inch self-healing tires and complete safety equipment, on the paper it really looks like a complete package, but can it really become a part of everyday life without any problems? Check out in this EVERCROSS EV10S MAX video review. The box the scooter comes in, it's large and medium heavy. When we open it, everything has neatly arranged. The scooter was firmly fixed. Taking the scooter out immediately gives the first real impression. Those 21.4 kilograms are not small, but that weight does not seem like a flaw, but rather a confirmation that this is a serious construction. Everything is very neatly and meticulously packed. In the box with the scooter, we also received the original EVERCROSS travel hard case that we will mount on the handlebars, combination bicycle cable lock, set with the screws and tools for assembling the steering wheel, charger with adequate EU adapter, lots of paperwork that proves that everything is made according to the strict European standards, and finally, of course, the EV10S MAX detailed user manual. Assembly is quick and easy. Practically, you just fasten the handlebars, check the screws, and you are ready to ride. No frustration, no unnecessary complications. When we first took it outside and put it on the asphalt, we immediately noticed that the EV10S MAX doesn't try to be classically minimalist, but at the same time it has dose of elegance that sets it apart from the typical robo scooters. The grey color combined with the gold details gives it a modern and serious look, so it seems both strong and visually attractive at the same time. The long platform already gives that feeling of security at first contact. That you can fake those 150 kilograms of load capacity after all means something. As soon as you step on it, you feel that you have enough space for stable stance without having to balance, which is especially important on longer rides where every centimeter counts. The steering wheel is set at the height that suits most drivers, including taller people, and what we immediately liked was how solid everything feels. No twisting, no flexing, everything is compact and inspires confidence. The details are where the EV10S MAX really shines. The turn signals aren't just there for sake of order, they are beautifully integrated and are really useful in traffic. The front LED light casts a strong and a wide beam that immediately makes it clear that you can rely on it even at night, while the rear light clearly responds to braking, which increases safety in everyday situations. And then there is these tires. Those 10-inch tires may not sound revolutionary on paper, but you know at the first glance that will cope where other scooters start to lose control. And that was confirmed as soon as we start riding. What we saw visually turned into a real feeling of safety and stability in driving. The first contact with the throttle on the scooter is something that immediately defines its character. You start by pushing lightly, you reach that safe 5 km per hour, and only then does the motor activate, which is a detail that may seem small, but in practice it means a huge difference because it eliminates the possibility of accidental acceleration and gives you complete control from the very first start. In S mode, where the maximum speed is limited to 25 km per hour, the scooter shows its true philosophy. It is not here to impress you with the brutal acceleration that will glue you to the wheel, but to provide you with a stable, predictable and controlled driving experience. Acceleration is linear, and that is exactly what makes it comfortable for everyday driving, especially in the city. The 500 watt power with a peak of about 1000 watt is felt most in situations where other scooters start to fade. It passes light hills without thinking, without needing to help it. Of course, it copes best on the flat sections, and here it is like a real little king, winner in acceleration and agility. The 48 watt 27 Ah battery is without a doubt one of the strongest assets of this model, and something that clearly separates it from the most of the competition in this class. On the paper, that 120 km range sounds almost unrealistic, but when you take it into account all factors such as the weight of the rider, terrain, speed and weather conditions, the realistic figure of 70 to 100 km still sounds impressive, and more importantly, it's achievable in practice. For everyday commuting, it means enormous freedom. You can go to work, school, maybe to the extra ride and come back home without having to charge. Charging, of course, takes longer due to the large capacity, about 8 hours, but it's a compromise that makes sense, because honestly it is much easier to charge a scooter once every few days than to keep it constantly on the charger. The combination of front and rear suspension with the 10-inch double self-healing tires gives a feeling that's closer to riding a bicycle than a classic scooter, and that's an impression that confirmed after the first rides on different surfaces. The scooter absorbs bumps, bad asphalt and holes well enough not to transfer unpleasant shocks to the rider. You can still feel the ground, but instead of sharp jerks, you get muffled vibrations that don't tire you out while riding. Self-healing tires further reduce the stress of possible punctures and provide a sense of security in everyday city driving, while the long deck allows for a more natural leg position and easier balance without effort. Altogether, the result is a scooter that can be ridden for longer distances without feeling tired, which makes it very comfortable for everyday use. The braking system is something that immediately inspires confidence. The combination of drum brakes, EABS system and the additional Hall sensor gives a very linear and predictable braking feel, which is a key in everyday driving, especially in city conditions where situations change quickly. When we first press the brake hard, we immediately notice that the scooter simply starts to slow down in its way that gives you complete control. Everything remains stable, calm and predictable. The LED display is simple, but that's exactly why it's effective. You can see everything you need right away without having to dig through the menus or try to figure out which each icon means. The speed, battery status and distance travel are displayed clearly and legibly even when riding, meaning you don't have to take your focus on the road. Now the EVERCROSS Pro app adds another dimension to use, as you can use it to track ride data, logs the scooter, check the battery, adjust basic settings and track your location and route. It is not revolutionary, but it's practical and useful in everyday use, especially if you like to have additional control and overview over your device. What further facilitates the experience are the buttons and controls on the steering wheel, which are arranged simply and intuitively so that all the basic functions such as changing the driving mode, adjusting the lights or activating the turn signals can be performed without thinking and without taking your eyes off the road. In combination with the display and the application, everything works very naturally without unnecessary complications and does what it needs to do. The folding mechanism is made simply and functionally without unnecessary complications. With one move you fold it and it's ready for the transport or storage, which is always a plus if you plan to combine it with other forms of transport. However, you have to be realistic with the weight of 21.4 kilograms. This is not a scooter that will you carry up at the stairs every day or hold it in your hands for a long time. That weight comes as a result of the solid constructions and large battery, and it is a compromise that makes sense, but it shouldn't be taken into account. After actually using it in a variety of conditions, from city driving to rough roads and light off-road situations, the EV10S MAX has proven itself to be a scooter that doesn't try to win you over, but slowly proves itself through experience. It's type of device that you appreciate more and more over time because you realize how well balanced it really is, from comfort and range to stability and safety to practicality in everyday use. It's not the lightest, it's not the fastest, but it is exactly what most people need: a reliable, comfortable and capable scooter that you can use every day without a second thought. If you're looking for a scooter that won't stress you about the battery, that will give you a comfortable and safe ride regardless of the conditions, and that simply gets the job done without the drama, the EV10S MAX is a serious good choice in that category. What is important to emphasize is that such models with a large battery and complete equipment are often limited in quantity, especially when they appear on a good price. So if you are thinking about buying, don't wait too long because they disappear from the warehouse very quickly. The official sales link is below this video. And if this review helped you, leave a like, subscribe and see you in the next video. Until then, bye.